What's going on, everybody? Jacob here, Miami Dolphins Syndicate. We are back. We are back recording how we usually do. No more phone, no more little mic on my shirt here. We're good to go. Got the computer all set up, got the webcam, got everything set up. Everything is not necessarily fixed. Had a lot of things go wrong at the same time with my computer as well as with my room in general. So we resorted to recording on my phone with a little mic, but we're good. We're back in business. We got Dolphins, we got Colts, we got a week one preview. Let's get into it. Back-to-back seasons now. The Dolphins and the Colts are meeting up in the beginning of the season in Indianapolis. Last year's game was one of the worst games of football I have ever watched, with two different starting quarterbacks. Tyler Huntley got the start for the Miami Dolphins, 2 down with this injury. Anthony Richardson went for the Indianapolis Colts. A 16-10 victory for the Colts at the time. Tyler Huntley, 87 yards passing, was knocked out of the game. Unfortunately, I believe it was a concussion at the time. I don't remember off the top of my head, but Jonnu Smith, breakout game from him. 7 catches, 96 yards, found the end zone. Was really the first game that he popped onto the scene while wearing a Dolphins uniform. Anthony Richardson, 10 of 24, 129 yards, was also leading rusher for the team. It was a very ugly game of football. Tim Boyle came in, had the opportunity to potentially win the game with the game-winning drive, ultimately was not able to get it done. This time we will see Tua back in the lineup for the Dolphins, an offense that has to have Tua in the lineup in order for it to work. He will be back. And then on the other side, Daniel Jones getting the start for the Indianapolis Colts. It was a legitimate competition this summer between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, and it sounds like it's going to be the Daniel Jones show, not just for the beginning of the season, but the Colts are planning on going with Daniel Jones for the entirety of the season until really the wheels fall off, just based off the words of Shane Steichen. This is not a short-term move. This is a move really for Shane Steichen to potentially keep his job. He has to get this season right. He's certainly on the hot seat going into this season. And when you look at the two quarterbacks, who is most likely going to save your job? You have Anthony Richardson, who is absolutely a deep ball threat. He is a big play waiting to happen, whether it be with his feet, whether it be with his arms. However, he is unreliable when it comes to just running a NFL offense. Cannot hit the checkdowns, has very, very poor short to intermediate accuracy. He was the single worst quarterback last year when it came to accuracy across the board, sub 50%. The only quarterback that registered that met the minimum threshold, the only quarterback in the NFL last year with a sub 60% completion percentage last year, it was sub 50% from Anthony Richardson. So he gets kicked out. Daniel Jones comes in. The big playability is not as there with Daniel Jones. He still has the ability to make plays on his own with his feet. There is athleticism there, but there is not true big play ability from Daniel Jones. But what he will do is run an offense, hit the short passes, give opportunities for the Colts to be in third and short situations, and the Colts are likely going to do everything they can to ride the back of Jonathan Taylor this season. One of the best running backs in all football. His job did get a little bit more difficult as the Colts did lose 2 of their best offensive linemen from last year, being center Ryan Kelly and right guard Will Fries, both of which go over to the Minnesota Vikings. So they will have a new interior of the offensive line with Quentin Nelson still maintaining his spot at left guard. Get a first look at this new look Miami Dolphins defensive line, which on paper should be one of the best defensive lines in football. You look at the edge position, the now rotation, the 4-man rotation you have of guys coming back from injury with Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. Chubb missing all last season, Phillips going down early in last season. You have second-year standout Chop Robinson, who had an absolutely incredible second half of his rookie season, and then veteran Matthew Judon, which should be a very formidable edge rush group. You then pair what was arguably the Dolphins' single best player on both sides of the ball last year in Zach Sealer and Chop Robinson. Has to be in consideration for one of the best defensive lines in all of football, and this team will go where their lines go this year. The defensive line is going to have to make up for some of the weaknesses that we see across the rest of this Miami Dolphins defense. The secondary, certainly going to be one of the worst secondaries in football this year. You can imagine, number one with Rasul Douglas as the Miami Dolphins' number 1 cornerback. Buffalo Bills fans were excited to see him walk out the door, and the Dolphins now are going to be deploying him as their number 1 cornerback, going against a decent test this upcoming week. Certainly not the best wide receiver group, but the Colts with a good wide receiver group of Michael Pittman Jr., who should be looking for a bounce-back season from last year. Back injury definitely hampered his output last season, as well as having to play with the quarterback carousel of Anthony Richardson and Joe Flacco, and then Josh Downs, who is certainly the best non-Jonathan Taylor skill position player on the team, working from the slot. Definitely had times last year where Anthony Richardson just could not get him the ball in the slot, but he is explosive. He's quick, has great route running ability from the slot, good hands. Just needs a quarterback to get him the ball. And then you're looking at Adonai Mitchell, who all of his metrics away from all of his advanced metrics look really good last year from Adonai Mitchell. They just simply could not get the ball. You're looking at rookie Tyler Warren, who by all means, from everything you're hearing from Indianapolis Colts reporters, is the real deal at the tight end position. So a good skill group, which is led by Jonathan Taylor, one of the best running backs in the NFL. The Colts are going to have to find a way to get Jonathan Taylor the rock as much as possible, and they are dealing with some departures on that offensive line. Center Ryan Kelly and right guard Will Fries both left to the Minnesota Vikings, which should be a much improved offensive line over there in Minnesota. But the Colts this is going to be a real test for them, going against a first-round pick and then Zach Sealer, as well as the edge rushers of this Dolphins defensive line. This is going to be a real solid test for the Colts, the offensive line themselves, as to see whether the replacements for Will Fries and Ryan Kelly are up to the task. As Jonathan Taylor is likely going to have to carry this team majority of the season. While Daniel Jones did win out the quarterback competition, he's not somebody you want to lean on. He can get rattled. He's horrible under pressure. And if the Dolphins can consistently get in the backfield and affect Daniel Jones, it is going to put this Colts offense in a real tough situation. No major injuries at all, really, on the Indianapolis Colts front. Everybody who was on the injury report is expected to play. The Miami Dolphins, as of now, have 3 outs. That is Ethan Bonner, Darren Waller, and Jalen Wright. Jalen Wright is going to be expected to miss the first few games for this Dolphins team. Darren Waller, we knew he was dealing with a hip injury. We got news of that earlier this week, but all reports were pointing in the direction that he was going to play. However, that is not the case. We are going to have to wait and see the debut of Darren Waller for at least one more week. We're looking at Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane. They're both going to be good to go. So of the 3, you definitely would have picked Darren Waller as the one to miss the game. It sucks, but at least Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane will be suiting up on Sunday. This game is very much going to be won in the trenches. You look at both these teams' defensive lines. You look at the Indianapolis Colts with Kwity Paye. You're looking at DeForest Buckner. You're looking at Latu. For the Miami Dolphins, we've already gone over the new look defensive line we will be deploying. And then both teams with new offensive lines. Miami Dolphins with a completely revamped left side, their offensive line with Patrick Paul, the new starter at the left tackle position. Jonah Savai going to be the new starter at the left guard position. So the trenches on both sides of the ball are going to be massive for these two teams. Who's going to be able to establish the run better? The Indianapolis Colts have in my opinion, the better overall running back, but I am very excited to see the splits between Devon Achane and Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon was somebody that I went into preseason as somebody who I was paying a lot of attention to, had the opportunity to take this running back 2 spot. And if I was looking at the 3 options going into preseason, at the time, Alexander Madison, of course, Wright, and Ollie Gordon, assuming all went well, he was the guy that I was hoping to take that running back 2 spot. He's younger, more explosive, hits holes. He's a strong back. He's a fierce running back, and that perfectly goes with Devon Achane, who is better outside and is a great receiving back. You got the power, you got the speed, you got that dynamic duo that I'm very excited to see how this plays out this season with hopefully an improved offensive line. And, of course, Tua behind center now. Tyreek Hill will be playing. Jalen Waddle will be playing. Again, going to have to wait on Darren Waller. But this Miami Dolphins offense, when Tua's in the game, they play well. They play well with Tua in the game, and they do not with Tua out of the game. This is a Colts defense that can certainly give this Dolphins team problems, and a Colts defensive line that certainly can get in the backfield. But I do expect the Dolphins to bring heavy pressure on Daniel Jones. He does not play well under pressure. I expect the Miami Dolphins to send a lot of blitz packages at Daniel Jones. This is a team that played a lot of zone last year. I would like to see them play a little bit more man-to-man and line up 6 guys on the line and send them whatever combination of those guys are, as well as other depth pieces on this Dolphins defense are. I would love to see them consistently in the backfield. This team is going to go where the defensive line takes us if we can consistently get in the backfield, especially these first 5 weeks. We have 4 very winnable games in these first 5 weeks with a Bills game in between weeks 1, 2, 5, or weeks 1, 2, 4, and 5 are very winnable games for this Dolphins team. We need consistent pressure from our defense and be able to establish the run early from the offense. I like the Dolphins here. I think it's insane that the Colts are favorites going into this game, only 0.5 difference, which really is a pick 'em at that point. But I really like the Dolphins here. I like the Dolphins to win this game 28-21. I do expect Tua to seamlessly fit back into this team where he was really in and out of the lineup all year last year. The running game, need to see it hit off early. I'm so excited. I really want to see a lot of Ollie Gordon. Devon A. Chan still coming back from a calf injury, so we'll see whether he gets the true workhorse role or maybe it even is a 50-50 split. We shall see how it goes. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Who's going to win this? How confident do you feel going into the 2025 season? We'll catch y'all next time. Have a great rest of your day. Go Dolphins.